It was on this day in 2006 we lost the iconic musician Lou Rawls. The three-time Grammy winner was born in Chicago in 1933 and began his singing career in local music groups.
Well, the Orleans, they have a showroom that is very conducive to my type of performance. And the phone's ringing. Hate to do that, but
that's right. We don't want the interruption of the phone.
Lou Rawls, the soul legend whose warm, resonant voice once captivated America, left this world, leaving behind a strange house, Scottsdale, Arizona. There, Lou's mansion lies silent, decaying under the desert sun. Locals call it the haunted castle, not just for its dilapidation, but because every corner, every door, seems to whisper untold secrets. Some stories don't die with their keeper. They linger stubbornly in cold bricks. The ruins of this house tell of a Lou Rawls the world never knew, with a heart heavy with hurt, torn apart and betrayed. Brace yourself for shocks as we pry open the doors of a mansion sealed for decades to peer into the hidden corners of Lou Rawls' life. On December 1st, 1933, in Chicago's biting cold, Louis Allen Rawls let out his first cry in a rickety wooden house amid the gritty South Side. There, the rumble of steel mills blended with the vibrant pulse of gospel hymns spilling from small churches, crafting a scene both stifling and brimming with life. The poor neighborhood, the heart of the African-American community, was not just a cradle for struggling souls, but also for the rhythms of soul, blues, and jazz echoing through every alley. Lou grew up under the care of his hard-working grandmother after his mother left in 1936, leaving a void in his childhood that could never be filled. At 3, he tasted a loss he couldn't name. His father, a stern preacher with a voice like thunder, was rarely home in their absence. Lou found solace in church music, immersing himself in hymns and nurturing dreams of escaping poverty. In 1940 at 7, Lou joined the choir at a church on 47th Street. Though his voice was young, each note carried a soulful weight that hushed the congregation. Ancient hymns like Amazing Grace or Swing Low, Sweet Chariot were more than songs, they were the lifeblood nourishing the skinny boy's spirit in their small home, where an old radio hummed. Lou was captivated by artists like Billy Eckstine and Joe Williams' voices that inspired and ignited his longing to rise beyond the South Side's shadows. But the reality of his upbringing was no gentle melody. One August afternoon in 1945, Lou witnessed a friend gunned down outside a corner store in a gang skirmish. The sight of blood pooling amid screams and terrified eyes seared into his mind. From then, music wasn't just passion, it became an escape from a world rife with danger and injustice. When he entered Dunbar Vocational High School in fall 1947, Lou joined the Holy Wonders, a local gospel group. His voice, now fuller and commanding, resonated in church performances, gripping listeners as if each song were a confession from his soul's depths. Yet, behind the applause and admiring glances was an unshakable loneliness, a quiet ache rooted in a motherless childhood. April 1950 marked a turning point when Lou joined the Highway QCs, a renowned Chicago gospel group. Tours across the Midwest opened a vast but harsh world, from shivering nights on buses to flickering stage lights in small towns. Lou matured, honing himself through each wandering step. The journey wasn't without brutal challenges. In Missouri, late March 1951, his group was attacked after a show not for their music, but for their skin color. Lou escaped with minor injuries, but the fear and rage lingered, an indelible scar of the injustice glaring beneath the stage's glow. By early 1955, Lou joined the Pilgrim Travelers, a leap forward. His voice wasn't just talent, it was an emotional force, moving hundreds at once. But the glamorous road life revealed its dark side. Late-night parties, hard liquor, cigarette smoke, and a whirlwind lifestyle crept in, quietly eroding the innocence he once held. Each performance's end wasn't just a high, it was a moment of self-doubt. Could the spotlight fill the longing for home, the skepticism, the unhealed wounds? As Lou's life soared, a catastrophe struck like lightning in a clear sky. On the night of June 15, 1958, the car carrying the Pilgrim Travelers, including Lou, slammed into a truck on an empty Arkansas road. Metal crumpled, glass shattered. His closest friend died on impact. Lou, barely recognizable amid bruises, was pulled from twisted wreckage at the local hospital. Doctors thought he was gone when his heart briefly stopped. He lay in a coma for 4 days, trapped between life and death. When he woke on June 19th, he found himself in a sterile room, machines beeping monotonously. his grandmother's anguished eyes watching. But what chilled him wasn't the injuries, it was the terror of nearly being swept away, as if death had touched him and silently retreated. The accident left an indelible mark. By late 1958, as health returned, Lou was no longer the lively young man. Life felt fragile. Alongside newfound awareness came relentless pain, nightmares, and lurking unease. He began to question, could church music, his soul's cradle, still soothe his wounds after deep reflection? In early 1960, he ventured into new territory: soul, jazz, and blues raw. Real music that spoke deeper than gospel could. The decision stirred controversy in Chicago's church community. To many, Lou had turned from faith, but he knew what he sought: songs to tell his pain, love, and complexities gospel couldn't touch. March 1962 was a milestone when Lou signed with Capitol Records. His debut album, I'd Rather Drink Muddy Water, released in August, declared his identity. His warm, seasoned voice, woven with mournful blues, touched listeners' hearts. But behind the glow was heavy pressure. Secular music wasn't pure expression, it was a ruthless race, pitting Lou against giants like Marvin Gaye and Barry White. One misstep could topple everything. Alongside this career shift, Lou's personal life took a new turn. On a fall night in September 1963, performing at a Harlem club, he met Lana Jean Taylor, a radiant, sharp woman. They quickly bonded and married quietly in Chicago on July 8, 1964. Lou believed he'd found an anchor after years of turmoil. But like his career, the marriage cracked. Lana craved a peaceful home, while Lou chased the relentless showbiz life. Grueling tour schedules, late studio nights, and fame's pressure drained their love. In November 1966, Lou topped the R&B charts with Love Is a Hurtin' Thing, but he realized success was a sweet poison, lifting him to heights only to leave an unfillable void. In their small Chicago apartment where he and Lana began their marriage, the air grew heavy, as if collapse loomed. Lana, now mother to Lou Rawls Jr., born mid-1965, was no longer the vibrant woman of their early days. She was exhausted by lonely months, waiting in vain as Lou was swept into music's whirlwind. Though he provided, Lou couldn't be the husband or father they needed. Tensions piled up, and on February 8, 1967, after a heated argument, Lana smashed a cherished record, a decisive act showing she could no longer bear his shadowy presence in their marriage. Exhausted from a show, Lou left silently, the sound of breaking glass echoing an irreparable rift. That night, he understood the stage's light could make him shine but couldn't save a home. Fame, however dazzling, couldn't replace presence in a waiting heart. The trouble didn't end there. In 1967, Lou released Lou Rawls Live, capturing fiery performances at a Los Angeles club. Launched in April, it resonated widely, cementing his place in soul music. But behind the stage lights and applause was a harsh reality where artists were constantly measured. Comparisons to Marvin Gaye and Barry White grew frequent. A June Rolling Stone article stung Lou's pride, calling him a Billy Eckstine copy, a judgment that cut deep. Instead of public rebuttal, Lou poured energy into the studio, producing Too Much in November. Each melody asserted he wasn't just a voice but a carrier of a community's emotions through music. Career pressure was only part of it. Even in familiar backstage settings, Lou faced invisible traps. One late March night in 1968 at a New York party, he overheard Capitol Records managers say his style was outdated, needing change to compete with the new generation. Betrayal simmered. Lou had survived near death, poverty, and prejudice, only to be asked to abandon his identity, something he'd preserved his whole life. He left the party silently, his mind torn. As his career advanced, his personal life spiraled. By 1969, his marriage to Lana was nearly frozen. Lou Jr., just 4, grew up amid distance and his father's prolonged absences. Lou sent money and gifts, but each return brought Lana's cold gaze. In July 1970, after a Detroit show, a call from Lana shattered everything. She wanted a different life, one without Lou. By January 1973, their divorce finalized. Lou Jr. stayed with his mother, and Lou, heartbroken, sought refuge in music. In May 1974, he left Chicago for Los Angeles, seeking a fresh start. 2 years later, in March 1976, he signed with Philadelphia International Records, a pivotal move. Working with producers Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, he rediscovered his lost soul. All Things in Time, released in June, marked a career pinnacle. You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine became his biggest hit, reaching number 2 on Billboard in August. His voice electrified crowds, but behind his smile was a longing for a family no longer whole: Lana, Lou Jr., and the home that once was. Fame always brought shadows. In late October 1976, during a Philadelphia recording session, Lou clashed sharply with Gamble, asked to record a more commercial song. He refused. He wanted authenticity, like Dead End Street, his 1971 Grammy winner. The rift was irreparable, and Lou left the studio furious. News spread, with some articles suggesting he was trapped by his own success. His career soared, but artistic freedom shrank. Still, Lou kept appearing on TV, from The Tonight Show to Soul Train. On screen, he smiled, but inside, he grappled with an unhealed past. Lingering headaches from the 1958 accident returned, especially after exhausting days. On a cold February night in 1977, after taping Soul Train, Lou collapsed in his dressing room from searing pain. Though doctors warned of long-term brain damage risks, he ignored them. Stopping wasn't an option. Only music kept him upright, a last friend who hadn't turned away. In October 1978, accepting his second Grammy for Unmistakably Lou, Lou stood at his career's dazzling peak, but the glow came at a steep cost. Whispers of his lavish lifestyle spread: vintage cars, endless parties, unchecked spending. Finances teetered. A May 1979 Ebony article revealed debts to business partners, which Lou denied. Yet, economic pressure pushed him into a relentless grind of tours and recordings. He was no longer an artist, but a machine fueled by anxiety. His distance from Lou Jr. grew, now a teen. His son felt his father's absence keenly. Though Lou tried to connect, their meetings brought cold stares, echoing Lana's. When Lou Jr. expressed a desire to sing, Lou hesitated. Instead of encouragement, he unwittingly planted doubt about the artistic path. Their talk ended in silence, and Lou left Chicago with an unnameable sadness. Those small cracks became an unbridgeable chasm. By early 1980, Las Vegas's lights still shone, but Lou, now middle-aged, felt like a rusted machine after decades of relentless work. His album Sit Down and Talk to Me aimed to hold his ground against rising stars like Luther Vandross. His warm voice still moved audiences, but deep down, he knew his golden era was fading. Many nights, in a quiet hotel room overlooking the lit city, he felt a loneliness that never eased. Fame, once a prize, now left only cold echoes. That year, Lou launched a passion project, the Lou Rawls Parade of Stars Telethon, raising funds for the United Negro College Fund, UNCF. Sparked by a March Chicago meeting, he saw fame as a tool for change, helping kids like his younger self born in slums, craving knowledge and escape. The first telethon, aired in December, exceeded expectations. Lou, calling to viewers with his deep, emotive voice, became iconic. Yet, behind the success was a quiet burden keeping the show alive yearly, securing big names and facing growing public scrutiny over donation transparency. Amid this, in June 1981, Lou met Cecilia, a gentle, charming woman, at a Los Angeles charity event. Their bond grew fast, leading to a private, elegant wedding in February 1982. Lou, scarred from his first marriage, hoped Cecilia would bring peace. They welcomed Aiden in 1983 and Kendra in 1985, but hope slipped away. Relentless schedules, endless trips, late-night tapings, and parties until dawn widened the gap with his family. Despite efforts, he couldn't fully be a father or husband. In October 1986, after a heated argument, Cecilia left, leaving Lou with a familiar sense of failure. He vowed to make amends, but the next flight pulled him from what mattered most. As his personal life faltered, his career faced storms. In April 1987, an Ebony article questioned the telethon's management, suggesting donations funded lavish expenses from backstage parties to first-class flights for guest artists, though Lou worked unpaid. Doubts stung. On TV in early May, defending the program, his eyes betrayed hurt. Unfounded rumors tainted the reputation he'd built. His question wasn't about money, but trust. Would his efforts ever be truly valued? Financial pressure mounted, despite past glory. The 1980s saw overspending vintage cars, support for family from Lana and Lou Jr. to Cecilia and their kids. An August 1988 Billboard piece hinted at millions in debt from a bad 1970s management deal. Lou denied it publicly, but those close saw the strain gnawing at him. In November, after a Chicago show, he collapsed from a mild heart attack. Though doctors urged rest, he raced on stage lights. Fame and pride left no room to stop. In March 1989, Lou left Philadelphia International Records after simmering clashes with Gamble and Huff. He felt stifled by industry molds, where formulaic pop overshadowed the raw emotion he chased. Leaving meant losing a powerful platform, but he chose identity, signing with a smaller label. He released At Last in October, critically praised for depth. It fell short commercially. Some Rolling Stone critics labeled him a relic of the past, salt in his wounded pride. His bonds with his children frayed further. Lou Jr., now an adult, voiced resentment in the press, saying his childhood existed only in photos and records, not a father's presence. A Christmas 1989 article hit Lou like a chokehold of guilt. Though he tried calling, words failed him. Aidan and Kendra grew distant, too. Cecilia, living apart, limited Lou's time with them, citing his instability. Lou didn't blame her, he'd too often chosen the stage over family, and the cost was brutal. Trouble kept coming. In July 1990, a young artist on Soul Train hinted Lou favored friends for telethon guest spots, sidelining new talent. Already stretched thin, Lou felt betrayed. He'd built the telethon as a mission for a decade, yet faced doubt. On TV in early August, he explained guests were chosen for their commitment to the cause. But rumors persisted. The phrase Lou Rawls' friends playground spread, another scratch on his tarnished image. He'd had it all: Grammys, hits, a telethon changing thousands of lives, but lost so much family ties, health, and some faith in himself. Recurring headaches reminded him time was no ally. As a new decade dawned, Lou didn't know worse tragedies awaited. It's supposed to be fun. Released in September 1990, flopped. In May 1991, Lou returned for the 11th Parade of Stars telethon. His eyes still shone. His warm voice touched hearts. A soul icon, but newer music waves and bolder. Younger faces dimmed his glow. A November 1991 AllMusic piece bluntly called him a remnant of a bygone era, a direct hit to his worn pride. As his career stumbled, his personal life sank into chaos. His marriage to Cecilia ended in March 1992 after prolonged financial and lifestyle clashes. Aidan and Kendra lived with their mother. Lou's visits were rare amid tours. He tried compensating with gifts, but their eyes held a growing distance no money could bridge. His bond with Lou Jr. fared no better. Now an adult, his eldest son nearly cut contact. A brief letter in summer 1993 was a bitter reminder that Lou's music, touching millions, couldn't reach his own son's heart. Lou felt utterly powerless. Stuck personally. In October 1995, Lou tried acting, appearing in Leaving Las Vegas. The minor role was a new challenge, but grueling waits, skeptical crew glances, and pressure to prove himself in an alien world drained him. He returned to music, where his voice felt at home. But even the telethon, his greatest passion, became unsafe. A 1996 Variety piece revived claims he favored old friends like Dionne Warwick or Stevie Wonder over new artists. Defending his choices on TV, fatigue showed on his face. His hard-earned reputation faced unfair scrutiny. After his stormiest years, a final light emerged. In March 2003, Lou moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, starting anew with his new wife, Nina Malik Inman, a former flight attendant he met at a Los Angeles event. They married on Valentine's Day 2004 in an intimate yet lavish ceremony. Lou hoped Nina would bring peace after turbulent years. Their grand Scottsdale mansion, with a sprawling garden and shimmering pool, symbolized this start. Joy doubled when Nina gave birth to Lou Aidan Rawls in March 2005. But even this happiness was fragile. Age gaps, differing ambitions, and lifestyles pulled them apart. Lou, health fading, struggled to keep up with his young wife. Tragedy began a year earlier, in May 2004, with a diagnosis like a bolt from the blue late-stage lung cancer. Persistent coughs and post-show exhaustion weren't just age. In October, a second blow: brain cancer. Doctors quietly confirmed the worst. In a cold exam room, Lou recalled the 1958 crash when he cheated death. This time, he knew no victory was possible. The body that carried timeless ballads became a burden, crumbling under disease's cruel grip. In the Scottsdale mansion, the air grew heavy. Nina, once his light, now strained their bond. Lou lay bedridden, his world shrinking to thick walls where his toddler's laughter mixed with eerie silence. Nina's presence, once comforting, felt controlling. Per Lou Jr.'s account in a November 2004 Jet magazine article, Nina managed everything from calls to visitors. Lou, a shadow in his own home, felt trapped amid luxury and loneliness. The tragedy peaked in April 2005 when Nina, in a sworn statement, accused Lou of assault, alleging broken bones and attacks with sharp objects. The grave claims spread across tabloids, bedridden with a breathing tube. Lou denied them, but public perception painted a warped image. An icon who sang "You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine" was now seen through a scandal's lens. Decades of performances and millions in donations seemed to vanish. Lou, who'd weathered countless storms, faced an abyss not just of life but of trust and legacy. By August 2005, Lou's health plummeted. Admitted to Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles, doctors fought to sustain him with chemo and radiation. Each treatment silently drained him. On his hospital bed, gazing out a window, his mind drifted to Southside days, singing gospel to fill his mother's void. Now, that voice was a memory. The Parade of Stars telethon, his 2-decade labor, aired in December without its familiar host. In rare lucid moments, he thought of thousands of students his efforts sent to college, but pride couldn't ease the ache of a fracturing family. In November, simmering family tensions erupted into public tragedy. Lou Jr. filed for legal guardianship, accusing Nina of unreasonably controlling Lou's life and decisions. He claimed she blocked him and sister Luana from seeing their father, even pressuring Lou to alter his will in her favor. Images of Lou Jr. barred from the hospital stirred public pity. Though fading, Lou was aware of the fight. He wanted to see his children, to speak final words, but his body failed him. Nina insisted she shielded him from stress, while his children believed her care hid cold calculations. They suspected she was quietly seizing their father's assets from the Scottsdale home to sacred music relics like his Grammys. On December 10th, Lou made a final move, filing at Maricopa County Superior Court to annul his marriage, accusing Nina of marrying for his wealth, including a company worth about $2 million annually. He wanted to protect his children's share, but his failing health left efforts unfinished. Days later, Luana told media Nina had taken Lou's wedding ring, music awards, and gold records from the Scottsdale home. A friend revealed Lou signed a power of attorney before slipping into a coma, hoping Luana could reclaim those relics to preserve his legacy's soul. On the morning of January 6, 2006, Lou Rawls took his final breath at Cedars-Sinai. Lung and brain cancer, unrelenting foes, prevailed. Nina was by his side, but Lou Jr. and Luana were absent, barred by her. News of his death spread across Billboard, Rolling Stone, and The Washington Post. Artists from Stevie Wonder to Smokey Robinson mourned, calling Lou an irreplaceable storyteller through song. The UNCF hailed him as a quiet hero, opening educational doors for thousands of black students. But amid tributes was a hard truth. Lou died with a family divided, between a revered legacy and unhealed rifts. His funeral on January 13th at West Angeles Church became another chapter of tragedy. Luana, eyes swollen, tried entering the mortuary for a final goodbye but was refused. Nina insisted she attend as a guest, making Luana feel her father was taken not just by illness but by unresolved disputes. Tensions rose as she again accused Nina of taking Lou's prized possessions. Nina denied it, claiming she preserved his legacy. The funeral, meant to honor a legend, became a stage for grief and conflict. After Lou's death, estate disputes flared like an uncontrollable fire. Nina was named executor, but Lou Jr. and Luana sued, alleging she manipulated the will when Lou was no longer lucid. In March 2006, Cecilia, Lou's second wife, filed a claim for music royalties based on prior agreements. The Scottsdale home, tied to Lou's final years, became a focal point. Luana claimed Nina stripped it of valuables. Nina said the estate was worth under $1 million. No one knew if the house was sold, kept, or transferred to Nina and her son, Aiden, for Lou Jr. and Luana. It wasn't just property, it was their father's last symbol, dragged into an endless legal vortex. By 2012, courts upheld Lou's will, yet family wounds festered. Lou Rawls Jr., in a rare June Chicago interview, spoke bitterly of his father's final months, believing Lou was isolated by his closest confidant. Luana stayed silent, never mentioning Nina. Nina and Aiden withdrew from public view, leaving the Scottsdale mansion and its mysteries behind. Lou's music lives on. Songs like Love Is a Hurtin' Thing and Lady Love still grace airwaves, films, and fans' memories, though scaled back. The Parade of Stars carries his name, aiding thousands of students, but in Scottsdale, the mansion that was his final home began a new, desolate chapter. Under Arizona's harsh sun, the once pristine white house with red tiles stands as a silent monument, shrouded in shadow. From 2003, the home Lou and Nina shared symbolized success and stability after turmoil. On a quiet road, surrounded by towering cacti and vibrant wildflowers, the 4,000 square foot estate boasted 5 bedrooms, a pearl-like pool, and a sprawling garden where Lou watched sunsets when health allowed. The airy living room, with large glass windows, once echoed his beloved jazz. A basement studio, with a vintage mic and glossy black piano, held his final ideas. But as estate disputes peaked, the house sealed shut, dust-coating windows, untouched. On July 15, 2006, a local described it on a forum as a ghostly presence in affluent Scottsdale. Weeds choked the pool, its water green with algae, littered with insects and rot. Silk curtains, once fluttering, hung tattered, faded by desert sun. The rusted iron gate creaked in the wind, like a mournful sigh from an unquiet past. After the funeral, Nina left with Aiden, abandoning the home. Neighbors swore they heard piano notes late at night, as if Lou's spirit lingered in his studio. By 2015, the house was Decay's emblem. A real estate blog showed its garden swallowed by weeds, tiles peeling under desert weather, listed for sale the prior year. It drew no buyers. Rumors said its million-dollar value crashed due to neglect and eerie tales. Some claimed Nina tried selling it to cover legal costs, but none confirmed. In 2025, the Scottsdale house remains, unvisited, a relic of memory and tragedy. Locals passing by avert their eyes, as if dodging a sorrow too vast, radiating from every brick, every window. It's not just an abandoned house, it's the remnants of a life that burned brightly, then shattered. Lou Rawls left an indelible legacy. But his story isn't just in music or telethons, it's a journey from poverty, through life's brutal trials, only to find glory can't fill a heart's voids. From Southside's dust to Arizona's desolate mansion, he lived fully, loved deeply, and died alone. When his melodies play on some radio, listeners don't just hear music, they feel the scars of a life that touched light but was consumed by darkness.